Welcome back to Kerbal Space Program First Contract. Well, here we are. We've gotten a bunch of stuff unlocked in the first episode. And we've got our reputation well into the green. We've got $125,000 worth of funds, 12.3 science remaining. It's kind of unfortunate. When I was unlocking nodes, I should have started down here so that I could have the batteries and Science Junior. As it is, I need 45 cents before I can have that. And, of course, don't have my fuel lines yet. But I'm going to make do without them for the moment. Now, head over here. Contract facility. Mission control. Alright, science from space around Kerbin. No problem. LV-T-45 engines while landed at Kerbin, not a problem. Parachute in flight, no. Solid fuel booster while in flight, no, not for this trip. Separatrons, no. Launch stability enhancer, sure. Rescue, what's his face? Not this trip. May sound cold, but hey, okay. Detachment manifold, sure, in orbit. I looked this up earlier, this particular booster, and it's huge and honking, and it's like 1 or 2 steps down the tech tree. It would be nice if they'd say test it while landed. I'd use it for a liftoff booster, but not on this flight. Perhaps no. Okay, stacked decoupler. Have to fire it in there. I'm going to be going too fast. And by the time I fire a stacked decoupler, I'm going to be long farther up than that. Explore the moon. Soon, but not yet. Alright. And the ship that I have in mind to do this with, I've already done some building work. The Minmus 1. And in fine tradition, it's too big. But we don't care about that. Now, let's see. Science, that won't be a problem. LV-T-45, not a problem because these engines down here are T-45s. Launch stability enhancers, no problem. Hydraulic detachment manifold while orbiting Kerbin. Okay, hydraulic detachment manifold, and it's this one. Alright. While orbiting. So, I'll, see, what do they weigh? They mass 0.4. Alright, I'll go ahead and pop a pair of them right here. And we'll fire that once this thing is in orbit. Alright, that'll take care of the contracts. Alright. Now let's look up our crew. Okay, Bill gets to take this flight. I said Bill, not Jebediah. I really wish we could rearrange this available crew to fit our own custom ideas of how we want crew rotation to go. And when somebody returns or is hired, they go on the bottom of the list. You know, when they return from a flight, when they're recovered in whatever fashion, or when a new hire happens, they go on the bottom of the list. And then new crew come off the top. That would be a lot more sensible, in my opinion. All right, off to the launch pad. All right. Amazingly enough, it looks reasonably stable. I've got enough winglets on it. It should, I hope, be able to control itself. I'm going to have the throttle way down. In fact, I'm going to put it about 30%, so that there is some thrust, and the vectoring engines, the gimbaling on the T-45s will help steering along with these winglets. But the solid boosters are going to do most of the work for liftoff. Alright, bring up our information stuffs here. Alright, Bill Kerman, are you ready to be the first Kerbal to at least orbit and possibly land on Minmus? Now, one thing here, the delta V stats here do not take into account these 4 tanks of fuel, because I don't have fuel lines yet, so they're not connected. I'll be manually transferring fuel from them into the main tank as needed, and so this ship should easily have the delta V it needs. It just doesn't know it. In any event, enough talk, let's fly. Alright, looking good so far. Backing the liquid fuel engines down a few notches. I really don't want to use much of that fuel until I have to. Alright, let's start pitching over. Hope we can get away with that. Oh, this doesn't look too bloody stable at all. Look at that. Wobbleizing all over the place. Be glad when the SRBs burn out. Alright, I think we're going to get back under control now. T-45s to full power. Yes, we're back under control. And we're pitching over to 65 degrees right now because... Okay, let's resume the flight. Let's get pitched over to 55 degrees because we are very high up right now. Periapsis is 38 kilometers. I had a phone call I had to take, so... Of course it happens while I'm recording, but the person calling doesn't know that. Alright. Looks like we're going to make orbit. Let's pitch to 45 degrees. And we'll see what we can do. Need to have another launch coming up very soon after this one to put a ship into a polar orbit and do science from every biome possible. Periapsis is passing 70 kilometers. We'll pitch down to, say, 10 degrees. Flatten out this orbit, stretch out the arc. And it looks like this thing's going to function as intended. And this intermediary stage will serve as a trans-Minmus injection stage. Alright, throttle off, stage that away. Pitch the rest of the ship down to 0 degrees. And see how fast we can plot a circularization burn. Good enough. Line up with the node. And I believe we need to go ahead and burn it right away. Yes, and is that, for that matter, we're probably going to be a little late. Let's see. Oh, this is going to use all the fuel in that stage, and I really hope to use that for the Minmus stage. Well, we'll do what we can. We may possibly not end up landing on Minmus. We might just get there and get some science in orbit and come back, but that's fine. It should be worth a lot more than local science. Get that off. Camera on free mode. I almost forgot to do that. I'm going to have to actually write out a checklist and tape it to the side of my monitor so that I can actually see that and be reminded to check it. How's it looking from out here? We are considerably past Periapsis, but we may be able to get away with this. Maybe. Periapsis is coming up. Periapsis is climbing considerably, but at this point we have no choice but to continue burning until the Periapsis is acceptable. It's up to 50, 60. 72 cut. Alright. Leaves a little bit of fuel in this stage. Alright. I'm thinking this might not end up being a landing mission. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer fuel out of those side tanks. 2 of them anyway. Okay. The rest of this one into here. All right. I am going to go ahead and manually fire. Let's see, wait a minute. Let's move this down here. And what's our condition for that? I had launch stability enhancers on there, and I fired them while we were landed, and it didn't complete the contract. Gee. And now these things in orbit from 83 to 93 kilometers altitude. Okay, so as soon as we're up to 83 kilometers, Periapsis is 72, we'll start going up. And between 83 and 93 kilometers altitude, I will stage those and get that part of the contract taken care of. And these empty tanks, I'm going to manually stage them now. Because we don't want that mass affecting what we can do. We've still got enough landing legs here that this thing should be able to land on Minmus if we end up getting there with enough fuel to do it. So we're going to try that. Alright, now time warp until we are within the necessary altitude to test that next part. Oh. SAS off so that we don't burn battery, the little bit of battery power. Okay. Confirm that that is the right stage for that. It is. Stage that. There we go. Alright, that's taken care of. Science data from space around Kerbal. Okay, let's get a crew report. Review report. Transmit. Okay, it's transmitting. Is this going to turn green? Okay, good. We transmitted a crew report. And the launch stability enhancer contract didn't work. Don't know why. At this point, don't care. Alright. How's our battery? Down about half. Get rid of that old maneuver. Minmus as target. Get this adjusted. Close enough. Alright. Get lined up with our node. And burn it right away. Okay. Turn that off to the sun and let's go. This will recharge our batteries. Relative inclination dropping quickly. Stop, went back up. It's still low enough to be acceptable though. Alright, SAS off. Don't want to be using any battery that we don't need to be using. Now, let's find a course to Minmus. I'm thinking probably about here. Alright, let's bump time a little bit here and there, add a little more thrust. And now we'll just play with the time to get the Minmus encounter. Here we are, coming real close. We have an encounter, Minmus Periapsis 451. Focus on Minmus. See if we can bring this down. Our Minmus inclination does not actually matter. Alright, 172 kilometer Minmus Periapsis. It's a little high, but we can work on it once we're there. The main thing is we have a course. Alright, let's set the alarm for this. It is a 1 minute 16 second burn, so we'll give ourselves, well, 1 minute will be more than enough. We'll be burning half of that. "45 seconds. All right. Align with node. And prepare to send this thing to Minmus. And we've still got 2 of these FLT 400 tanks full of fuel we can tap. So this thing will at least orbit Minmus. Alright, turn this off and get around to a few minutes before the burn. Getting close. Get lined back up and burn. Off. Okay, we're on the way to Minmus. Okay, how are we doing here? Okay, this is going to just about use up this stage. Start throttling back. Okay, that stage is done. Not going to refuel it again. We'll just jettison that. And we'll use the next stage to finish this burn. All right. Okay. Now I'm going to try to see if I can fine-tune this burn just a little bit. I think I overshot just a little. All right. We've got 189, 157, and I'm going to call that good enough for right now. SAS off. Set another alarm for sphere of influence change. All right. Time warping away. I don't know what that's from. Okay. That must have been something from another save when I was making a mistake backing up the alarm clock file. Okay. This is the one we need. I was doing some work in a test save. All right. Okay. All right, now we can get our orbit insertion burn at Periapsis. Which shouldn't be too big a deal. $16-kilometer periapsis, and then we get down there and circularize. It's going to take 197 meters per second. We have 1,300. We're good to go. Plus, there is the fuel in those other two tanks. Okay. More time warpage after I set an alarm. Okay. 21-second burn. So we'll start at about 11 seconds before the node. All right. $10-kilometer periapsis. Pop another maneuver here. And just go for circularize. Or something approximating that. Alright. SAS off. Swing around here. Get the ship swung around. All right, we're in position. Get down there to the node. Okay, we are now in Minmus orbit. So, let's do an EVA report. 32 science, and it's all transmittable, so I will as soon as I get back on board. And we'll do one goo report. That's better not to transmit, so we'll keep that. And let us transmit, review the report, transmit the EVA report. This should open up Minmus contracts now. Okay, that used most of the available battery. And the only way to recharge it is to fire the engine. So let's have a look at our orbit here. Turn that off. Okay, we're coming around this way and we're going to be heading north. I see an opportunity to land on the lake bed. Yeah. Alright. Swinging around retrograde. Burning fuel as we do it, or power, that is. Okay. And I'm just gonna go for it here. Alright. Let's go. Looks like we got a decent landing spot. Got some recharge on the batteries. Roll heads up. Fine controls. Landing gear deployed. I said landing gear deployed. Start killing horizontal speed somehow. Now I have to fix that because I just went too far in the wrong direction. Oh. Because for a first landing on Minmus, I would really prefer to set down on that lick bed.